Hi. So my testimony starts of June of 2018 when I was 14 years old. I went to Indian Creek Baptist Camp with my youth group, and going into the camp, I was having doubts about my salvation, but I was too ashamed and scared to go forward and talk about it. So every night I just kept pushing and pushing, and I want to go up, I want to surrender, and I want to go talk to my pastor's wife about getting saved or anything. I just kept pushing it away until the last night. Pastor Dean Miller had preached a sermon on salvation, and in the sermon he said something along the lines of, Christ wasn't ashamed to die for you, so you shouldn't be ashamed to give your life to him. So I realized that I shouldn't be ashamed and I shouldn't be afraid, and I was like, okay, I need to go get saved. Well, during the sermon, we were having a storm, and back then, I still kind of am now, but especially back then, I was terrified of storms, and I really feel like God used that to push me to get saved. So after the sermon was done and we had invitation, the power went out, and I was so scared. I thought Jesus had came back, because nobody was reacting. Nobody reacted for a good 10 seconds after it had happened. So I was like, oh my goodness, I missed my chance of getting saved. Clearly I was wrong. So we got the power back on, and we started invitation again, and this sounds crazy, but I promise it happened. Whenever I was like, I don't need to go up, I'm just being silly, I'm just doubting, the storm would get worse. And whenever I was like, no, you need to go talk to Miss Jackie, my pastor's wife, you need to go get saved, the storm would slow down a little bit. So after a few times of that happening, I went and I talked to Miss Jackie, and I got saved. So flash forward to this year, we went to a youth conference, and Pastor Dean Miller was there again, and I had been struggling with not feeling saved. I know that sounds silly, I know salvation isn't a feeling, but that's what I'd been struggling with. And I remember he preached a sermon. The sermon had nothing to do with what he said. It was just one of those things he had said randomly throughout the sermon. He said, God wouldn't put his greatest in your most shallow. And I realized God wouldn't put something as permanent as salvation in my ever-changing, crazy emotions. So I went down during the invitation, and I prayed, and I just asked God to remove my feelings from my faith. And it was like this huge rock had been lifted off my shoulders. And I remember going back, and I was sitting with my friends, and we were singing a song during the invitation, and I just cried because I was so happy. And since then, I really haven't had any problems. I feel great. I'm still going strong and everything. So, yeah, that's my testimony. So how I came to West Coast, we had a tour group come years ago. It had to have been 5-6 years ago. And they just kind of planted the seed. I was kind of like, oh, cool. Another, a Christian college I could go to. And it was kind of exciting that it was in California, and I was like, okay, I'll keep this on my list. I was still too young to make any decisions, so I just put it on my list of colleges and moved on. Well, Dr. Brian Senses is actually my pastor's dad, and when he started teaching there, I was like, oh my goodness, I can go and I can be taught by my pastor's dad. Well, then he retired, and he came to our church, and I was kind of like, I don't need to go to West Coast. I have the missionary teacher at my church. Well, I talked to him, he talked to me, we talked a few times, and he really helped me decide to go to West Coast. And then Rachel Stensis, when she actually went to West Coast, she used to be Rachel King, but then she got married to Dr. Brian Stensis' grandson. So she helped me decide to go also, and she helped me with the online stuff, and yeah, her and Dr. Census were both very helpful in my decision to come, and I'm really glad I did, and I'm so excited to be going, and I'm really excited to go in person next year, and I'm excited to watch everybody else's testimony videos, and I hope you all are having a great day.